Yuta! Yuta! Hey, how's it going everyone? I hope my Rika impersonation didn't scare anyone off. But for those that did stay around, well, here we go. Yuta Okkotsu from the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero movie. Finally he is out. I really would have expected these movie figures to come with the movie way back in December, or at least maybe Jan. But yeah, the movie is actually out on Blu-ray, DVD and whatnot and streaming. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, jump online, go watch it. You'll love it. It's a really good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I generally don't rewatch movies often, but this one I have enjoyed watching multiple times. But as he swings around here, we can see the usual logos on the box, including the Tamashii quality seal. And as we can see from the box, he actually comes with quite a bit of accessories, which is great. Something that the original release of Jujutsu Kaisen Figuarts were severely lacking in. On the back, we have the usual showcase of images highlighting his articulation and parts and accessories. So nothing too major there. So yeah, let's just pop him out and see what he does come with. Okay, so we have Yuta himself in the centre there, and he has a kind of a neutral smiling face, which is really nice. And then for the additional faces, we've got three on the side here. We've got the screaming one, the kind of angry semi-mouth open one, and the kind of a sad, shy looking face. We also have his microphone accessory, and then we also have a sheathed or a wrapped up katana with a strap to go around his body. The same version, but in this case the strap is flat, so you can kind of hold on to it. The katana itself, and then we've got the three pairs of hands, one's for gripping the microphone katana, and the more open, spread finger grips there. So a nice selection of accessories all around, which is really good, and definitely adds a little bit more fun and excitement to the figure. I'm really hoping we do get a re-release in the future for the other first year figures, Nobara for example, with her hammer and her voodoo doll. Just all those little small accessories really does bring the figure to life, so it's fantastic that Yuta here has his microphone as well as the katana. But yeah, let's get him out of a blister package and get a close look at that finish. So as Yuta swings around here, you'll probably notice a few hints, little glimmers of blue coming through on his clothing. So he does have that little bit of a subtle weathering on his clothing there, especially in the folds down the bottom, which is really nice to see. The skin tone is a really nice, vibrant, kind of a healthy looking colour, which is quite surprising because he is a sickly looking dude. But it does look really nice in the figure. But if they went a little bit more paler, it would have been quite nice as well. But I guess since his body is mostly white, it would be a little bit, I guess, too extreme in that regard. His shoes, I think, are really cool, actually. You've got the nice red line running straight through the sole. You've got the tip of the shoe in the different colour. Even got the shoelace colouring crisscross as well. They look really good. They look like sneakers. The gold finish on the pin on his uniform there, the Jujutsu Kaisen school emblem, which is really nice. And then again with the lines underneath his face there to bring forward that sickly kind of run down look which Yuta has. Obviously he's been, without too many spoilers, he's been carrying around this massive curse spirit for many years. It's just weighing him down, making him fully exhausted, and that comes through in the figure. So yeah, overall I think the finish is looking really nice. Definitely a solid figure. I have seen a few comments online complaining about the chunky pegs in the elbow. Surprisingly, it doesn't bother me too much actually, because the way his clothes are designed, it is meant to flare out a lot on the end there. And if they hadn't gone with a smaller peg, that would mean there'll be more plastic around the side here, which will again hinder the articulation. So I think this is a nice kind of little wee way of handling it, so you get the articulation without it looking kind of weird with a super tiny peg or extra plastic around the edges of his clothing. But yeah, let's just get a close look at the articulation. Starting with the head, as usual, everything just feels super smooth and nice, moves around. I got the front tilting, the back action. The only thing I will point out, if you've seen the Naruto reviews, you'll know what I'm going to talk about. If you haven't seen it, go check them out as well, and you can find them in a playlist somewhere on the channel. But for those figures, they have the hair split on the neck as well. So what that means is you can get the hair tilting back a lot further than most releases. Though Yuta here doesn't seem to have too much of an issue with that, thankfully. So even without that split hair on the neck, he does have a great range. But sometimes it can definitely help go back a little bit further. He maybe even look up even more if he did have that design. The neck itself will move as well. That swivels freely. It is almost a perfect circle, so we don't get any points where it will hinder the articulation. Moving down to the shoulders here, these as well feel really nice. The same usual butterfly joint, and we've got the peg will attached into the shoulder. We've got the main big peg on the outside, and then the one on the inside of the body as well. It's kind of on a long rod here in the center. You can see it kind of goes up, then the shoulder attaches to that, and then there's another peg connecting the 2 points. So that is quite a unique design, which I don't think we've ever seen before, but so far it's working really nice in this figure, and everything does feel nice, stiff and fluid. So you can move the arm up without any real issues there. So a little bit of a fiddly design at some points, but you just have to swivel and move it around to get it into the right position. So moving over to those elbows, we've got a nice range there. The wrist peg is nice and big as well, and it does give us a good range of motion. Again, everything in this figure is feeling really, really nice. I think the Jujutsu Kaisen line is one of my favourite ones so far. Every figure so far has felt amazing. Coming to the back, he does have a nice curve in his design, very similar to that of the other students. And the range of motion isn't too bad. I think if we could get a little bit more of a natural curve on the back, it would be quite nice, but going forward it's actually pretty decent. It does help that there is the curve in his chest area, so it doesn't really hinder too much. Though getting something similar to that of the new Naruto figures would be amazing. Moving down to the hip region, he can swivel on that lower torso and hip area, though it is an oval shape, so you can't swivel 100% around. But coming to the actual legs, he's got some Van Damme movement going on. That is pretty damn good. I'm pretty sure it's better than all the other Jujutsu Kaisen figure releases so far. And on the back it looks pretty good as well. For his knee, yeah, that is basically exactly what you want. It does the job, and it looks pretty nice as well. The joints overall pretty clean and consistent when you are extending them to their absolute max point. For the feet, yeah, he's actually got 2 points. The upper part of the shoe will swivel on his leg, and then you have the shoe part which will move individually as well. You've got the tilt range going on, and back and forward motion too. And then the usual toe tip point of articulation. Overall the feet are really nice. I would definitely love to see the design that the Naruto figures have, where the joint comes all the way in and we can fully swivel these to the left and the right. So checking out the faces now, this is the base face that comes with him, and as you can see he's got the exhausted lines underneath his eyes, and this just has that very neutral, kind of subtly shy smile, where he doesn't quite know what to say, and he is kind of smirking as if he likes what Panda is saying about Maki while they're on the training field. If you've seen the movie, you'll know what I mean. Next up is that full-on screaming face, and this one is amazing. It's got such nice attention to detail, and it really does bring forward that emotion. Might be a little bit hard to see on camera, but we have multiple lines around his eyes bringing that exhaustion, and then the extra lines above his nose there to bring forth the emotion as well from screaming, and even above his eyebrows it has that kind of a hook look to give it a more aggressive feel to the expression. Next up is that slightly worried, kind of angry, about to get annoyed look that he has, with the mouth slightly open, and this one is quite a nice generic face to have if he's kind of holding his weapon like he's about to step into battle. And finally we have that slightly sad looking frown, kind of a broken soul look of a face, and the eyes on this one looked really nice, the extra white detailing on the eyes there to bring forth that kind of sadness in his expression. And again we have the tired look underneath his eyes as well. Overall I think this one's really nice. I think it would be really nice if we had a Rika to go with him. It would really match up well with this face, I reckon. So we've got a couple of accessories on him now. The sword itself just goes over his shoulder really well, and it's a nice quite soft rubbery material, so it is nice and easy to put on him. You can just raise up the arm and they'll just slot on and over, so that is nice to see. Sometimes these accessories can be a little bit fiddly, but this one overall nice and easy to manage. Same with the microphone, just change the hand and then slot it in there. We've also have the wonderful detailing on the side there, which is the Inumaki clan sign for that cursed speech ability. And definitely when combined with the shouting face, I think these two accessories go together extremely well. And then trying to quickly recreate the pose on the box there with the katana and hands. And yeah, since his joints move so freely, it is really easy to get him into posing. Though this one here is a little bit messy, but if you spend a bit more time you can definitely get him into a fantastic striking pose. The katana itself has great detail, and if I swing it around here you can also see the ring located on each of his hands as well. So the katana itself matches what we see in the movie, with the lovely red hilt with the gold trims. The blade itself has that wicked, I guess, yeah, I was going to say gunmetal colour, but in this case katana metal colour. For a size comparison, we've got the UG release and the original Gojo as well. I do have a movie Gojo somewhere, but I'm actually getting ready to move, and I believe I might have accidentally packed them up already. But for now we do have the original. The only difference is the movie one is fractionally taller, and obviously here's the white bandana. If you do want to see the review for the movie Gojo, that is up. You can check that out in the channel. But yeah, I think overall Yuta here lines up really well with these other figures. He is definitely slightly shorter than Gojo and slightly taller than Yuji, kind of fitting perfectly in the middle. The overall finish of them is really nice. The original Gojo release has that slightly pastier skin tone, the kind of a slightly zombie look, which I think would have been nicer for Yuta. However, if we had it on Yuta matched with his white character design for his clothing, I think it might have been a bit too much. So overall I am quite digging the slightly more vibrant skin tone colour that they went with in the end. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think about these three figures lined up together, and if there's anything that you would have liked to see different, or at least something from one of the other figures cross over onto Yuta there. One thing I am definitely digging from Yuta is the fact that his leg parts aren't quite as long as Yuji and Gojo, which means he does get that better articulation when doing these splits. So that brings us to the pros and cons part of the video, and straight away just one con to point out, and that is the inner section of his top here. Since it is a loose floating piece of rubber, it can kind of get stuck inside his body a little bit. You might have noticed, at least on a few shots prior to this, that's how he was looking. I kind of left it there for that purpose, to show that is one of the slight downfalls with that design, though overall it does allow for a better range of motion, and all you have to do is get some tweezers and kind of pull it out. So now when you'll see him slide around, his shoulder section is being covered. I just got some tweezers and pulled it out. No big deal, super easy. So if that does happen with yours while you're posing and you're wondering what to do, just get some tweezers and give it a small pull. But yeah, anyway, back into the pros and cons. The first pro, he looks amazing. I love the finish. The extra blue colouring in his top is nice. The design of his sneakers, I think, really pops. That red line is great. The colour separation from the laces to the shoes looks fantastic as well. Also, the gold pin is looking really nice. The ring is simple but also really good. It would have been nice to maybe a slight colour difference from the two parts, but overall it is looking really good. The facial expressions, all four faces, is great. The look of sadness, anger, and just pure exhaustion, the weight of having Rika with him all the time really does come through on the faces. The articulation is really nice as well. I'm digging the shoulder design, and then also same with the hip and leg area with the slightly lower, I guess the separation or the line where the leg connects to that hip part. Allows for some great articulation. The center torso could be a little bit better again to give a bit more range, and same with the ankle area. There's a slight con. They have the technology. Go hit up the Naruto team, please. They'll tell you what to do. The head as well, fantastic articulation. Accessories really good as well. I don't really have a con. Only small ones, like I mentioned previously. The articulation down here. Hit up the Naruto team, as I mentioned. Find out their secrets and give it to the Jujutsu Kaisen figures, please. But yeah, other than that, I'm digging it. I don't have any real big cons. It's just a solid retail release. The price is pretty reasonable for what we get. I think it's around the 6,000, 7,000 yen mark. And it's about average for these figures. The big joint here, I mean, it's a bit sad that it is so big, but at the same time it works well, and the colour blend is nice. It doesn't stick out too badly, so that one there is a pass for me. But let me know in the comments below what you think about this Yuta Jujutsu Kaisen figure release. I mean, does it hit the mark? Does it miss? Is there anything that you would want to see a subtle change on, or anything that you're not quite happy with? But I think overall it is pretty nice. I think maybe some people may bring up the skin tone between his arm and his hand there. Looking really closely, it doesn't quite line up, but that is one of the issues when you're going with painting the skin tone next to the molded skin tone color. It is hard to get a 100% match, and it only really sticks out if you're looking extremely closely. Kind of similar to the previous figures that we've had recently from other lines. I think the Vegeta Dragon Ball Superhero one had a few comments complaining about that. And that one, I think, I don't really feel like they could have got it too much better. It's just one of the downsides for the painting versus the molded colour. But yeah, I think that brings us to the end of the video. Digging this figure, loved the previous Gojo, can't wait for Geto, who they have teased. I'm really hoping we'll get Maki, Inumaki, and Panda from the movie as well. Drop a comment below who you want from the movie and also the main series released. From the main series, I definitely want Toro. Actually, I basically want everyone. Love all the characters, to be honest. But main one, definitely Toro. Yeah. What else is there to say, really? More photos, end of the video, Instagram. But yeah, and also check out Rockchala for more images, information for the line, and the latest news and details. And there's also a collection list maker as well. So yeah, that is it for the video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, cheers!